Hey guys, this is Heather with Paws Across Borders. I am hoping this will work okay. The last video I made, the quality was really not good, so I just have this set up with my cell phone pointing at the screen. So the first thing that you want to do when you get to this website is you want to create an account. It is going to verify you, much like a credit check would. It's going to ask you personal information. Since it is a USDA website, it's a government website, they have all of that. And then I definitely recommend bookmarking as many pages as you want, because the site can be kind of finicky on how to get back to things. So this is the login page. We're going to click on login. And then you can see up in the corner there it says bad request. I don't understand why. So I have the next page bookmarked, which is my applications. I'm going to leave links to these things so that way you can just get straight into it. Once you create an account, you won't have to go hunting around for wherever you do your applications at. So we're going to go up here where it says start new, and we're going to do a we're going to do a new application. We're going to import, and then it asks what are you going to be importing. We're going to import live animals. We're going to do dogs. They are coming from Mexico. Okay, in this instance, they are going to be going to Arizona. There might be different regulations if they're going to a different state. I don't know, you'll just have to kind of follow the process here. So it says, is the dog you're importing need veterinary care? If you select yes, the next question I think it asks is this something that only can be done in the United States? Because they only want healthy dogs coming over here unless it's a procedure that only the United States can do. If you select no in regards to it can be done in Mexico, they're going to say you can't bring the dog over. So no, the dog does not need any veterinary care. It's going to be imported for resale or adoption. Has to at least be 6 months old. And then it says you will need a permit for this request. We're going to go ahead and proceed with the application. Okay, so here it says, how are you bringing the dog in? We're going to select other, and then transporter. So this can be a company. It does not have to be a company. So we'll say Bob is bringing over our dogs. Mode of transportation is going to be land. He's just going to drive them over. When you click on the box, Nogales is the one that I use the most, so that's why it's here. No flight number. Departure date. This is going to be really important. What is the soonest day you would like these dogs to be able to enter the country? So if this gets approved, like mine got approved within a matter of hours. Obviously it's government, they don't work on the weekends. But if I was to submit this on Monday, chances are I'd have it back by Monday afternoon, because for some reason they're really slow right now. And you cannot use it early. So if you got it approved, say tomorrow, and you're like, oh, well, I set up the time for them to come over on the 31st, but let's bring them over early instead since I'm approved. It doesn't work that way. The form expires about 30 days after the date that you were hoping to bring these dogs into the country. So anytime after this date, as long as it doesn't reach the expiration date. So coming from Mexico, they're going to arrive the same day. What time do you think you're going to be leaving Mexico? Let's say 8 o'clock in the morning. I think I'm probably going to arrive in the United States by 10. Port of export. For some reason, Nogales is not listed there. So we're going to select my port is not listed. Excuse me. And we're going to type in Nogales. And then we're going to hit save. I'm sorry, I know I'm going kind of fast. The last video took me like 40 minutes, so hoping to cut that down a little bit. I know there's some glare on the screen, but hopefully it's a little bit easier to read. So we have add importer, exporter, and recipient. You have to have 3 people in this section. Now, 2 of them can be the same person. So for example, just a brief correction to my video. the exporter has to be the person in Mexico the dogs are coming from. So in that section, just be sure that you are putting the name, address, phone number from where the dogs are coming from. So exporter always has to be the person in Mexico. Importer and recipient are going to be in the United States, most likely. Okay, so it's gonna go here. I'm not gonna fill all of these fields out for you because they look exactly the same. But for importer, they put their first name, their last name, organization if they have one. You need their phone number. And then the address, country, and all that fun stuff. And then you would select save. You would do it again for the exporter and do it again for the recipient. Next process is going to be add the dog's information. So let's select add a dog. Say the dog's name is going to be Jay. He has to at least be 6 months old. So we'll say he was born in November. Color is going to be tan. Breed. So if for some reason they don't have any mixed breeds here, so just pick the breed that the dog most closely resembles. So we're going to say it most closely resembles a German Shepherd. It's going to be a male. This other information you don't have to put in, but if you do have it, you can put it in. My throat's getting dry from doing all this talking. Okay, now this is where you would upload documents, and I will do a video at the end of this where it talks about the documents that you need. You need a health certificate and a rabies certificate. The form that the USDA provides is a 2-in-1 form, but I also have a separate rabies certificate form for the vet to sign that you can give out to anyone that adopts the dogs. It has the pertinent information, the vet's information, has the vet's logo, the address, their signature, their license number, so it should be accepted by most of the counties here in here in Arizona. All right, so you will upload that, and then you'll select next. Okay, this is the final step. You're reviewing everything that you put in. You want to make sure everything looks correct. Here in the exporter field, like I said, you're going to have 3 different entries. You're going to have an importer, an exporter, and delivery. You're going to have your dog's information here, and then any documents that you have uploaded here. And then you're going to go ahead and continue. Okay, obviously it's not going to let me submit this because it says I'm missing a bunch of stuff, but you would just click that you certify it's correct and you would submit for approval. Took me a couple of hours to get my approval back. The person that I was working with is extremely responsive, which is fantastic. So now let's talk about the different forms I have. So this is the form that the USDA provides. Hoping I'm not going to have too much shaky camera work here. But basically you're selecting that you are importing dogs. How many dogs are you importing? The address, telephone number, and name of the person that the dogs are coming to. This section over here is the name, address, and phone number of the person the dogs are coming from. Section 7 and 8 are sections that you can leave for the vet to fill out. However, I found it easier just to fill it out myself because then I know for sure it's going to be done in English. So these are the names of the dogs I'm bringing over. These are the breeds. A lot of vets want to put mix as a breed, but the USDA will not accept that. So then we have the year or the age, the gender, the markings, and then over here you have your vaccine information. So if you talk to the rescue you're getting the dogs from, they can tell you when they were vaccinated. They can send you a photo of the rabies bottle, which will have the lot number, and also tell you the name and the brand of the rabies. Same thing for the vaccines. Now, the USDA does require that the vaccines include distemper, hepatitis, leptospirosis, parvo, and parainfluenza. So this particular vaccine includes all of those. Leptospirosis seems to be like the most common thing left out of some of the vaccines that I've seen, so you definitely want to make sure that the one that's being used includes that. These dates are very important, so whatever date you put on here for rabies is very, very, very important, because the USDA does say that the date on here has to be at least 30 days prior to when the dog will be entering the United States. So just keep that in mind when you're filling this out. These 2 boxes do need to be checked. This is basically the vet saying that the animals are healthy and that they're not coming from an area in which the place is being quarantined for rabies. Down here is the vet that we have been using. So that's his information. We don't fill this out. There are no USDA veterinarians in Mexico, so this section is not filled out. Then he just signs dates and puts his license number, and that is it on this form. It is easier if you go ahead and fill out as much of it as possible. You can copy this verbiage here and send it over to the vet just for them to sign and get it back to you. So this is what the import permit is going to look like. It has the address the dogs are coming from, the address they're going to, the dog information. Down here it says it's coming by land through Nogales, the arrival date that we plan on bringing the dogs over on. Next page here just goes over the rules and regulations for things you need to bring. So it says bring the health certificates, bring the rabies vaccines. It is signed, and that is the expiration date. So as you saw, the dogs were expected to come in on the 26th, I believe, and this expires on the 25th. So they give you 30 days to get those dogs into the United States before this form expires. So this is my blank rabies certificate. As you can see, it has the veterinarian's logo on there. It has the address for the veterinarian we've been using, and all this other information that you need to have filled out. Now, it's in a Word format, so it could be easier for you. I mean, for me, it's easier just to fill all of this out myself, send it over to the vet. All he has to do is review, print, and sign, and send it back. So that way I know for sure everything is in English. And this should have everything on it that the counties here in Arizona are requesting in order to be able to license a dog. So it has the license information, it has the date of the vaccine, the expiration date, manufacturer, and lot number. So that should be everything that the state is going to require in order for this certificate to count. So this is the blank health certificate form. It's when you download it, you can type things into it, so it makes it really, really nice. I have this form as well as the rabies one that I can send over to anybody that needs it, so that way you guys can fill it out on the computer. Depending on what vet you're needing, my contact down in the USDA was very, very helpful. He said he was even willing to go ahead and call the vets to explain to them what exactly they need to put on these forms. If you have different vaccines than what I had listed on my forms, send him a photo of what it is, so that way he can go ahead and tell you how it needs to be written on the form, because that was the most challenging part for me, was figuring out how the distemper, all that sort of general vaccine needed to be written. I figured out the rabies one. The rabies one wasn't terribly difficult for me to figure out how to write it after doing a Google search, but the booster shots were just so confusing. So he was able to tell me how to write that. If you have any questions, just reach out to me, and I'll try to answer them best I can. Otherwise, I might put you in contact with the USDA. They are very responsive right now. I don't know if COVID has them not doing very much, but they have been extremely helpful.